Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're joining us today, live from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is a K Market Day in the Igbo lunar calendar. And in the foreign Roman Catholic calendar, today's date is July 8, 2025. And what we have been saying is, if we have lunar calendar that goes with Eke, Oye, or Nkwo, why don't we follow it than following the foreign Catholic calendar? And today, we have to show you some videos to support our lecture. And the title of our lecture today is Winners and Losers of the Israeli, Iran, and USA War. Who are the winners and losers of that 12-day-old war? That's what we want to explain to you. And also, the killing in Gaza continues. Why Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu miss in the White House. And before we go on, we have to remind you that that war between Israel, Iran, and United States actually started on June 13, 2025, when Israel unilaterally, surprisingly, on their own, started to bomb many places in Iran. And I will show you just a few videos of what happened before I will dive into the lecture. Let me show you a few videos of what happened during that period. Let me show you this video. This video is this video is courtesy of the Times of India. That was how it started, the bomb engine in Iran. You see where a lot of property were destroyed. That was what was going on in Iran, the Israeli bombing Iran. And now these are some of the things that were destroyed in Israel by the Iranians' counterattack. You see the damage in Israel up to $1.5 billion in damage. And Israel was hiding most of the damage that happened, most of the destruction. They were hiding it after the war, but people have to sneak in to get the actual damages that occurred in Israel. A lot of damages was done to the land of Israel. Let's go. Remember the Iron Dome, which the Israeli and the American government had been touting as the best in the world, failed, and most of the Iranian missiles penetrated and destroyed, damaged a lot of things in Israel. For the first time in the history of Israel, that a lot of missiles penetrated into the land of Israel and damaged a lot of stuff. Let's continue to watch. Let us stop it for now. And so on that fateful day, that on June 13, 2025, when Israel woke up and started to bomb Iran, from that time to the end of the war, on June 24th, Israel killed more than 30 senior military commanders of Iran. A lot of nuclear scientists were killed. A lot of uranium enrichment sites in Natanz, Isfahan, were also damaged, including also over 80 Iranian air defense batteries were also destroyed. Israel carried out about 1,000 sorties. Sorties means surprise attacks, and also 600 aerial refueling. They were refueling their aircraft on the air to help them to be able to attack Iran and the way that they did. And all in all, they destroyed a lot of things in Iran, and also 974 people died as a result of that war in Iran. Israeli killed a total of 974, while 4,458 sustained different types of injuries in Iran. So after the 12-day war, a lot of things were destroyed in Iran. A lot of their military personnel, commanders, scientists, uranium enrichment sites, over 80 Iranian air defense batteries were destroyed. And also 974 died, and 4,458 also were injured. On the other hand, during the retaliatory attack by Iran on Israel, the Weizmann Institute of Science and Technology in Rehovot was damaged. The towers, a lot of buildings in Tel Aviv were also destroyed. Also, many commercial buildings and other things were destroyed in the city of Petah and Tikova. The Haifa refinery, the refinery in Israel, was also damaged, as well as the Ben Gurion airport, the only airport they have, was also damaged in that war, including the Haifa seaport was also damaged. And comparatively, Iran has about 90 million people and Israel has only 9,000 people. How can you match both? That was why Israel continued to suffer from that war. It was Israel that begged Trump to come in, even after Trump had dropped on June 22nd. Trump dropped a lot of bombs on the nuclear sites, 30 palm bombs in Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan nuclear facilities in Iran. And that did not lead to regime change. That didn't change anything much in Iran. Iran remained very strong, and Israel was suffering. It was Israel that actually was begging Trump to call for ceasefire because they can no longer sustain the loss that they were having. And so, after all these wars, this 12-day war, who are the winners and the losers? President Benjamin Netanyahu came up to say that they are the winner. The Iranian leadership, Ayatollah Khomeini, come on and say they are the winners. President Donald Trump, come on air and say that America is the winner. They destroy the Iranian nuclear facilities. But we at Inkolam Mahadum, we want them to know that all three of them are losers. Both America lost in that war because America lost credibility and trust around the world because they were negotiating with Iran to find a solution to their civilian nuclear program. They were having a meeting. Trump was telling the world that the meeting was going on. But meanwhile, behind the scene, secretly, they were working with Israel for Israel to go and attack those nuclear sites. And so America suffered a very big setback because no country now will like to or will trust any meeting or any agreement that they are trying to have or they already have. So they lost a lot of credibility and influence around the world. As for Iran, Iran lost a lot because a lot of their nuclear facilities was set back. That's a lot of destruction. And as you can tell, that also they lost more lives than the Israelis. Then what did the Israel lose? Israel suffered the greatest damage since the creation of the state of Israel in the land of Palestinians. For the first time, Israel institutions and assets and military sites were bombed, and most of their strategic institutions, like the airports, like the seaports, like many important areas, was bombed by Iran in Israel for the first time in their history. So, and Israel was suffering so much, that was why they begged Trump for that ceasefire that we have right now, was initiated by Israel. That is one thing that we want you to know. And as things are going on now, many experts are afraid that Israel may be preparing for another war with Iran. But we at Nkolom don't think so, because what they have seen, what they suffered in this 12-day war is enough for a wise person to know that kaunengune duele ke kaunengune yadu neshina eshide isharo when amaile ishi yadu. So Israel will not, for us at Nkolom, Israel may not try again to voluntarily, to unilaterally, to on their own start to fight Iran again. And another big lesson we have to learn from this war is that Israel is worshiping both Yahweh, Jewish Yahweh, and Christianity. And in all these wars, Israel is not using Yahweh or Christianity or Jesus to fight it. No. They are using man, equipment made by man, equipment given by man. In this case, the one being given to them by America. Because America, Britain, France are the major sponsors, major supporters of Israel. And so they are not using all this. They are using humans. They are using equipment made by man to prosecute these wars. In addition, also, they are using, in addition, also, the Iranians, they have their Muslim, they have their prophets, they have their whatever they are worshiping. They didn't use what they are worshiping to fight this war. They are instead using ballistic missiles, man, equipment made by man to prosecute these wars. So it is wars that is used to shape the world. It is not religion. Religion doesn't have any power. That's one thing we also want you to know from this lecture. It is very, very, very important that you know that religion does not play any part in winning a war or in fighting a war. They can make you go to war, but you're not going to use Jesus or Bible or Allah to fight that war. Instead, you will use man. You will use equipment made by man. That is what nations use to fight wars. So this will bring to an end the lecture about the winners and losers of the 12-day war by Israel, Iran, and United States. And now we have to go over to the killings that is going on in Gaza, because since October 7, 2023, when Hamas launched attack into Israel, Israel have come on offensive and continue to massacre, kill, starve, control everything going on in Gaza. And we have to show you 1 or 2 videos so you can see what is going on in Gaza. Give me a minute. Thank you very much. Give me a minute. I have to show you 1 or 2 videos.
Airstrikes and shooting in the Gaza Strip overnight have killed 94 Palestinians, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. They say dozens of people died in airstrikes that pounded tents and a school sheltering displaced people in the territory. Half of those killed were trying to get humanitarian aid. Today, human rights organization Amnesty International issued a report claiming the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the newly created American organization backed by Israel, uses starvation tactics against Palestinians to continue to commit genocide in Gaza.
أنا كنت ذاهب للمساعدات أجيب أضحية لأولاد أخوي الأيتام اللي هم البقولة من عائلتي كلها بعد أهلي وأخوتي استشهدوا أول الحرب. جيت هون لقيتهم مستشهدين هم الأولاد وأمهم.
The credit for this video goes to Global News. Global News is the people that made this video, and we are thanking them for making that video. So let's continue to watch it.
ولابن عم برضه صقر وولاده وزوجته ولابن عم يزن والله يرحمهم برحمته.
فجأة لقينا الخيمة فوقينا والنار بتشتغل. ايش اللي صار مش عارفين. ايش بدنا نقول أكتر من هيك؟ حسبني الله ونعم الوكيل بس. ايش بدنا نعمل؟ بس حرام الأطفال كلهم محروقين حرق. حرام حرام اللي بيصير هذا حرام.
كانت هناك ليلة دامية حيث وصلنا عشرات من الشهداء مثل القصف.
Again, these are just the killings going on in Gaza on a daily basis. Any day you wake up, the Israelis are killing 40, 30, 50, 60 Palestinian people. These are human beings. The Palestinian people have a God that they are worshiping. Where is that God now? Just like when the America and others were fighting in Iraq and Libya, where was their God, the Allah that they are worshiping? If that Allah has power, why is that Allah not helping the Palestinian people? Why? And so anything religion is man-made. Look at the suffering of the Palestinian people. That is uncalled for. That is very, very, very bad. And let me show you 1 or 2 more videos about what is going on in Palestine. That is not good.
Well, we begin in the Middle East. Hamas is reviewing what U.S. President Donald Trump labeled a final ceasefire offer for a 60-day truce. But as considerations are made, bloodshed persists on the ground. Gaza health officials say Israeli airstrikes and shootings killed almost 100 Palestinians overnight. Officials say around dozens of those killed were attempting to get much-needed humanitarian.
What you hear is Israeli airstrikes, not Israeli Jesus strike or Israeli Yahweh strike. Israeli airstrike. Aircraft made by man and the bombs made by man is what Israel is using to kill the Palestinians. That's what you should know. That religion, anything religion, doesn't have any power. Let's continue to watch.
Humanitarian aid. 5 were killed outside sites associated with the U.S. Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Reports by the Associated Press allege American contractors guarding aid distribution sites in Gaza are using live ammunition and stun grenades on crowds. Tom Perry is following the story from Jerusalem.
And our credit goes to CBS News for this video. CBS News is the one that made this video. Credit goes to them. Let's continue to watch.
So, Tom, what more do we know about those overnight strikes?
Well, we've seen a new round of strikes by the Israeli military in Gaza. As you mentioned, dozens of people killed in the past 24 hours. We've seen strikes in areas where people have been gathered, sheltering in tents. We saw a strike at a former school where people had been gathered, again, seeking shelter. These are displaced people forced from their homes. They've been moving around Gaza for months. And we've seen as well, as you mentioned, people killed lining up for food, 5 of them at least, lining up for food being provided.
You know what? People coming to get food. These people, the Palestinians are being starved of food. So they go to centers where they are sharing food. So in that center where they are sharing food is where the Israelis will come and kill them. Is this what you are supporting? Is it right that you, as an African, will be supporting a country that is behaving in this manner? Isn't this genocide? Is there any morality in this? Is there anything that shows you there's anything religious? Is this the type of religion that we should be emulating? Come on, let's continue to watch.
Provided by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Now, there's been a lot of controversy around that group. It's newly formed. It's backed by Israel. It's backed by the United States, and it's really supplanted the United Nations and other more established humanitarian groups in providing aid to the people of Gaza. Now, we saw this week more than 170 humanitarian aid groups saying that Israel has to really stop working with this organization because hundreds of people have been killed by Israeli troops as they've lined up. And we've seen these chaotic scenes of people lining up for assistance at these distribution centers that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Just imagine the number of people here, people coming to get food. Imagine the number of people. That will tell you the level of suffering, the level of dehumanization, the level of maltreatment that Israel is perpetrating on this population. And the world is quiet. The world cannot stop Israel. Israel can do whatever they want. Is that the type of war that you will like our generations to have or our children to have? Please, reason. And before we continue, please subscribe, join us, and follow us on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Because what we are presenting you, we are presenting it from the Igbo man, the Biafran, and African perspectives. Let's continue to watch.
Has set up in Gaza. Now, the foundation has shot back. It said that it welcomes, it wants to work with other groups, but of course those other groups say they're being sidelined by the Israelis. Now, the other element we're seeing these days, and certainly this week we saw an airstrike by the Israelis that killed Dr. Marwan al-Sultan. He is a prominent cardiologist, or he was a prominent cardiologist, and he and several members of his family were killed in an airstrike. He headed the Indonesian hospital in Gaza, one of the largest hospitals in Gaza. And we heard from his daughter after his body had been taken to the local hospital. We heard
in this Israeli war on Gaza, a lot of people, children, the elderly, doctors, medical professionals of different types, journalists, name it, have been killed. People trying to help out the Palestinians, many of them have been killed in this war. Is that the type of world you want our children to live in? Come on. So this is what has been going on. And then this war that is going on in Gaza have not really weakened Hamas, because Hamas killed 5 Israeli soldiers the other day, wounding about 14 of them. So let's go to a video showing how 5 Israeli soldiers were killed.
Good morning, and thank you so much for waking up with us here on Live Now from Fox. It's Tuesday morning, July 8th. I'm Jeanne Francine here with you for the next few hours to give you all of your breaking news alerts, top stories, and of course, your live events of the day. As we come on the air, we are following some breaking news. It takes us out to the Middle East. Take a look. This is the very latest from Fox News Foreign Affairs correspondent Trey Yingst reporting breaking news overnight into this Tuesday. He says, quote, a significant incident tonight in Gaza, waiting to report details until we can confirm additional information. Well, we actually have those details to confirm with you on this Tuesday morning. I want to give you the latest look out southern Israel.
Credit goes to Fox News for this clip. We want to thank Fox News for this clip. Let's continue to watch.
Looking into Gaza, and on this Tuesday morning, you are able to see plumes of smoke there in the distance where Gaza is. The Associated Press reporting 5 Israeli soldiers were killed in an attack in Gaza. The Israeli military confirming that information this Tuesday, while health officials in the Palestinian territories say 18 people were killed in Israeli strikes. The bloodshed comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is visiting the White House. We're told his visit.
5 Israeli soldiers were killed, which means Hamas is still as strong. They never destroy Hamas. So if you haven't destroyed Hamas since all these wars, why do you continue fighting? Why don't you end this genocide and make peace with your neighbors, knowing that Israel, the state of Israel, was established in the land of the Palestinian people? It's only peace, it's only common sense that will give Israel peace in the Middle East, not war. And now, let's show you one video of Hamas, one of the Hamas spokespeople speaking, to tell you that Hamas is still very, very strong.
هي قدر كل الشعوب الواقعة تحت الاحتلال. وإن هذه المعركة المقدسة هي قدر كل الشعوب الواقعة تحت الاحتلال، ونتيجتها الحتمية هي انتصار الظلم وقهر المحتلين مهما انتفشوا وطغوا وتجبروا. ونطمئن مجاهدينا وشعبنا وأهلنا في كل أرضنا.
Now you have heard that Hamas spokesperson speaking about how they are still vibrant, how they are still strong in the war against the Israeli people, the Israeli forces in Gaza. So all these wars for all these years have not destroyed Hamas. Hamas is still intact. And so why do we continue these killings? Now, let me show you another video here of today's from
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. President Donald Trump welcomed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the White House Monday, where the two leaders promoted a plan to expel thousands of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. Over dinner with Trump, his Mideast envoy and top cabinet members, Netanyahu presented Trump with a letter nominating Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. Netanyahu also said he's working with the U.S. to find countries willing to receive Palestinians, claiming
why Benjamin Netanyahu is killing Palestinians and fighting all their neighbors. He came to the White House, giving President Trump, nominating him for a Nobel Peace Prize as a peaceful president. Meanwhile, it is Donald Trump, it is the United States that is providing Israel with the greatest support that it is using to wage wars, all the wars that they are waging in the Middle East, including the killings in Gaza. And he came in and he's giving him, nominating him to be a Nobel Prize winner. So as an African, how do you see that? Does it make any sense to you? Isn't this, the more you look, the less you see? For the USA president who is providing support to Israel to be killing, perpetrating all these things that they are perpetrating in the Middle East. The same Netanyahu is coming to nominate Trump as a Nobel Peace winner. Does it make any sense? It doesn't make any sense here at Nkola Mahadum. Let's continue to watch.
They would be free to leave Gaza voluntarily.
I think President Trump had a brilliant vision. It's called free choice.
They want to have, they are discussing in the White House to have what they call free choice, to create a place where they will remove all the Palestinians to go and live so that Israel will occupy the land of the Palestinian people, so that Israel will occupy the Gaza, the land of the Gazans. This is the world we live in. This is how the world is being changed. This is how the world is changing in our eyes. And is this the type of world that you want our children to live in? As an African, use your akonuche, your common sense. And that is why you should be following us at Nkola Mahadum, because we present things from an Igbo man, from a Biafran and African perspectives. Let's continue to listen to them.
You know, if people want to stay, they can stay. But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave. It shouldn't be a prison.
Netanyahu's White House visit came as Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said he'd instructed his forces to establish what he called a humanitarian city on the ruins of Rafah in southern Gaza, where Israel would forcibly relocate some 600,000 Palestinians.
They want to relocate about 600,000 people in the city of Rafah, so that every other land left will be occupied by the Israeli government. It's about land. The world is about land. The land is scarce. Everybody is fighting to keep their land. And if you're in Africa, try to keep your own land. Let's continue to listen.
Meanwhile, Trump's expressed confidence that Hamas would soon agree to a proposed 60-day ceasefire with Israel, even though indirect talks in Qatar on Monday once again failed to reach a breakthrough. Outside the White House, protesters rallied to demand an end to Israel's slaughter of Palestinians in Gaza.
I can't stand the fact that people are suffering and being killed the way they are. It's unbelievable that this is happening in this day and age, and I feel helpless, and I feel like our country is hijacked by people who want this to continue and are making it possible. And that's not what I want my tax dollars to go to.
This is why we are saying at Nkola Mahadum that the Western democracy should be disbanded, should be rejected in Africa. Because look at this lady, their population, some of their population is not in support of what is going on in Gaza. And I have seen so many demonstrations going on in the universities, every time, everywhere, in Europe, in America, and yet they are not listening to anybody. They don't listen to their people, whatever they're telling them. Those in government is just pursuing their own agenda. That is very, very, very sad. And let me show you one more video, and we start bringing this lecture to an end. Let me show you one more video, and I'll bring this to an end.
One, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things. Okay. That's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. But so you
have had him. This is the mentality of the people that are in American governments. This is Ted Cruz, a U.S. senator from Texas, saying that what he believes in is what he was taught in the Bible. That if you don't love, let's listen to him again. Let's listen to him again.
So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it. And you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean? We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
One, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side.
This is the basis by which this senator is supporting Israel, by believing the Bible. Whatever he was taught in childhood, that's why this brainwashing, this miseducation, this misinformation is very dangerous. That's why we Africans are suffering from this colonial brainwashing, that somebody like Ted Cruz, a U.S. senator, is believing on what he was taught when he was a child, when he was small. That's what he still believes up till now as a senator. And that serves as the basis that he is using to support Israel. That's it. But also, some experts have it that he also receiving money from the churches, and that is why he's making such statement, so that the churches will continue to give him more money. That is brainwashing, and that is what we are calling on Africans to follow us, join us, subscribe in YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and other social media platforms, so that anytime we provide a new lecture, you'll be the first person to get it. Anytime we online, you'll be the first to get it. And now we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, and we are live on TikTok, so that we can save you from mental slavery. Imagine people like this that are in U.S. government. That is why they are supporting Israel blindly, supporting all these killings. Every day when you wake up, you hear killings in Israel. Overnight, they kill 41 people. The day today, the night that gave us today, yesterday night, this morning, the news last night, 41 people were killed. So every day you wake up, people are being killed in Israel, and it's okay for the world. This is not the type of world we shall leave our children to live in. We need a better world. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining us today, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.